Hey, hi, hello. Welcome to the final part of my eco community. Today I'm working on the final building, which is the community center. In it, I have a living space, a kitchen, a playroom, and a basement. But let's jump right in. This is the largest building on the lot. I debated for a bit on making it 2 stories because I didn't want it to look out of place. But from taking a glimpse from the front of the lot, I think it adds some nice height to this back corner. It also adds just some height in general to the build that's not just the trees. Um, I was originally going to make the building this rusted orange color, which is on the fence, but in true Sims fashion, um, the swatches just don't match up. I tried to ignore it at first. You're gonna see me after I figure out the porch situation and stuff. I'm gonna pull out the sliding glass door that comes with Eco Lifestyle, and it's going to have the same colors as the fence on top, but when I pull out the windows that I wanted to use, it only comes in orange and it doesn't come in this like light rusted red color, which I find a bit frustrating. But I decide that I'm just going to see how it all looks in the end. So I put the windows up. I debate on trying to see if there is a color that matches the windows for the door, and there is, but it's not the color that I wanted to use. Me twirling the building around, looking at it, deciding if I actually really like it or not, but I'm just gonna tough it out and see if I can make it all work. And then I pull out the wallpaper, and this is when I realize that the building is ugly as hell. So I quickly change my mind and I decide to use this brick, like stone texture. It's the sandy color, and then I change everything to gray, and I think it looks so much better. I did want to add more color to the lot, but this just wasn't it. The only colorful building we have on the lot is going to be the red duplex up at the front. But I add grass on the roof. I add the upcycled wood wallpaper from the Eco Lifestyle pack, and I think the building looks really pretty. I just wish it could have been that rust color that I wanted, but it just didn't match. But here I am adding the stairs to the building. Originally I was gonna have stairs that also went into the basement that I start to build here in a second, but the stairs were gonna take up too much space, and I don't have a lot of luck stacking the stairs on top of each other, because every time I want the stairs to be stacked in a certain way, I can't get them to look how I want them to look. Something glitches out, so I just don't mess with stacked stairs. And I didn't want a second set to take up more space, so what I do is I just build a little cubby hole back here, and I put a ladder down into the basement. And also, a funky thing with basements is that you can't build them completely to the edge of the building that you're building, because then it just raises the terrain, unless you push the basement like really far underground, but then that also creates visual tearing in the terrain. But honestly, this kind of works out for me because I didn't want the basement to be too big anyways, mostly because I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to put down here. I just knew I wanted a basement, because I had a whole bunch of stuff in mind for what I wanted to put upstairs, and I was like, if it all doesn't fit, I'll put it in the basement. But it all ends up fitting, so I get to the basement and I just don't know what to do. But we're gonna get to that closer towards the end of me furnishing this building. But right now we're just putting down the path outside. We put down the floor, which is the same floor that I have throughout. And then after I put the fence and the flooring, we're gonna start working on the furnishing. And this project to work on was a lot all in one go for me. I don't normally work on projects this big for this long, if I do start a big project like this, I normally end up giving up and abandoning the whole thing within like an hour or two. But this one, I was like, no, I'm gonna push through. I'm gonna try my best to finish this whole thing in one go. And I will admit that this is the part of the build where I started to run out of steam just a little bit. But I pushed through because I knew I just wouldn't come back to it if I stopped. So in this living space, we have the 3 couches, we have the big TV, we have fabricated lamps, side tables, this coffee table rug. And then it was at this point I knew the off the grid idea for this lot was just heavily off the table. It didn't stop me from uploading the lot with the trait because I was hoping by some miracle that it would work. But I just got a little too ambitious, and every single time I furnished, I just kept forgetting that you needed to use off the grid stuff to make it off the grid, or you just needed to pack your build with solar panels, wind turbines, and water collectors. But anyway, over here by the front door, I'm going to be adding the long table. I put the login reward dartboards over here because we now have dartboards in the base game. But I put the juice pong table over here. I put some couches to sit down like your Sims are waiting to play, or if they are playing. I do try to use this lattice with the flowers going up it. I tried to use it a couple times throughout this entire lot, but they were two-sided and they just looked goofy pressed up against the wall, so I just opted for this plant and the like, I think they're like plasticky, like metal fiberglass like sheets. This is where I got in my, I mean, it's not technically like the rust color orange, but I did get some color in there with the yellow. I put this sign out front because I thought it was a nice like welcome sign to the community. And then I pull out this pergola. I will be pulling that back out again later on because I did want to use it because I had that empty grass patch in front of the building that I needed to fill up. Fabricated bookshelf. I put up a clock, some of that blanket and pillow clutter, put a rug, and then we're gonna head on over to the kitchen area. Now for this kitchen area, I did give it a real oven and a real stovetop. I give it a full dining space, and then I give it the same cabinetry and the other 2 appliances and the sink that the other houses have. You know, because I thought your Sims would like a place to cook other things besides oven stuff, or just like salads and things that don't require a stovetop to cook. Also, so your neighbor Sims can also cook white cakes to their heart's content. But I put a full dining space here so your Sims can all eat together. There's a trash can. I think I put a smoke alarm over here. I'm not 100% sure. What am I looking for? Oh, I'm looking for these pots to put up on the wall because I thought that would be nice clutter to have. And then over here I put the bowling night arrow light. It's something that I always think about using in a lot of my builds. It just never seems appropriate to use, but I thought it looked kind of cool over there, like kind of pointing that there is another area for you to check out, which is the basement. And then to finish off this space, I put up fabricated lights on the walls, and then I used these floral like sphere pendant lights. And then we will be moving on into the basement once I finish up lighting the area. Or not the basement, we are going to be moving on to the roof before we go to the basement. But underneath the stairs, I put this planter. The stairs do work, which is a nice surprise. I wanted to put something under there, just fill up the space, and luckily that works. Up here on the roof, I put 4 solar panels and a wind turbine. And then on this little deck patio area, I just put 3 loungers for your Sims to come in, sunbathe, relax, nap, hang out. And I also put a kiddie pool as well, so your Sims can bring the toddler up here to swim around, or if your Sim is so inclined, they can also sit in the pool as well. I also put a lot of vertical planters, so your Sims have other places to plant things. But I do get rid of like 2 or 3 of them to put a window there instead, because the inside was just a little too dark, and also the walls were a little blank and I didn't want to clutter them with artwork. And then on this side over here, I think about using the vertical beams, but I do use these vertical like greenery walls instead, the same ones that I used on the toilet block, the restroom. And I do use the big window at first, but then I realized that the railing cuts into it, so I just used the smaller instead. But up here in this space, I put 2 doll houses, 2 science tables, and the pop-up tent. It all works, it's all functional. The only reason I know that is because when I went to take the first initial screenshots before I redid the screenshots, one of the cardboard doll houses was completely destroyed, which is always nice to see. I don't know why Sims are so angry and need to destroy doll houses any chance they get. But here's the science tables. I do put a smoke alarm and the fire prevention system up here because your little kids will blow things up and catch things on fire when they're making science experiments, which is always a fun and fantastic time. But I just put some toddler blocks down on the first floor for the toddler so they don't have to come upstairs. And then I make the tent the one with like drawings on it, because behind the tent I do put like a fake chalkboard wall. I've seen other creators do this in their builds, and I thought it was a cool idea. I initially get the idea from putting the decal of that tree on the wall. Before I do that, I pick out some more decals. I pick out these trees from Parenthood. I think it looks nice and it kind of gives the dollhouses like a nice background to use. And then I come over here and I paint the wall black, so it's like chalk, like the chalkboard wall. And then I put the decals that I think look like chalk. Is going to be the monster and the unicorn. I did think about using the bunnies, but they didn't look enough like chalk, which is kind of funny considering that right next to the monster I put the cloud decal and I put the little triceratops next to the unicorn. They don't necessarily look like drawings, but I just wanted to add them because it was a nice contrast to the black. And then over here I finally get to use best item in the game, which is the cute flower wall. I did almost get rid of her because I thought she made the stairs non-functional, but when I saw the destroyed dollhouse, I knew they worked. I was so happy. I think it looks so nice up here. It looks so pretty, and yeah, I'm really excited I got to use that object and found a space for it. But here I am putting up lights on the walls to finish up this area, and then I put another floral pendant. And now we are going to be moving on into the basement. Now, down here, the only thing I knew I wanted to put down here was the recycle machines. So after I decide on the wallpaper and I put a couple of those industrial looking pendant lights from this pack, I get out the recycle machines. I end up putting 4 down originally, but I get rid of 2 of them because I thought the space was too cramped and I didn't think it was functional, so I just used 2. Also, I don't think Sims autonomously use them all that much. I do know they do autonomously use them, but not that much. And then I put the get to work fence up so it looks like it's protected and it's safe. The funny thing is though is that the get to work fence and the get to work gate look like the swatches don't match. Even when I put lighting and stuff in there, they still look like they don't match, which kind of bothers me, but just not enough to change it because I did like how it looked and that's what I wanted. And I put up the Strangerville lights as well. And then I'm going to get to this big empty space, and I have no idea what to do with it. For a little bit, I thought about putting gym equipment down here. But as you can tell, I kind of didn't know how to place it. I was going to put the treadmills over here and then the weightlifting machines on the other side. Then I was like, I don't really know if I want gym equipment down here. So then I grab out these garage doors, which didn't make any sense. So I was like, why would there be garages down here? And then I grab out the vault, and I'm like, why would there be a vault down here? What would the purpose of that be? And then I grab this bar, and that is when it hits me that maybe I should have a bar down here. But long story short, I get rid of the gym equipment, and I put the bar down here instead. I get cabinetry. I kind of make my own custom bar back. I did think about using some of the bar back items for a little bit, but I decided against it because it just didn't match all that well. But I put counters here for 4 bar stools. I put another pendant to line them up like that. And yeah, I just used some industrial looking bar stools. I originally was going to use some from base game, but I just didn't like the colors. I didn't think they matched, so I just go with these little metal looking ones. I put a sink, some paper towels. And then I'm kind of stumped on what else to do with the space. I didn't know what kind of decorations I wanted to put up. Overall, this space was just kind of really confusing to me. In all honesty, I probably could have just made it really small with the recycling machines, but I just decided that I needed more and more things. And this is the part where I don't know what to do with this area back here. I pull out DJ Boost because I'm like, haha, DJ Boost, but I was like, why would those be down here? And then I was going to do nectar making, but I was like, that should be in its own separate room, but I didn't want to add more space to it. So I give up for a second. I go back to decorating this area. I did use those wall panels, which I think is like a really cool art feature. I did that in a build that I did like a while ago, where I put those up on the wall of this guy's like bachelor pad, and I thought it looked cool, so I kind of repeated it. Put them on either side of the cabinets. And then I put some plants down. And then I put the desks for computers down here because I realized that I didn't have any computers on the lot anywhere, and we know how our Sims love sitting at their silly little computers to play Sims games because they'll just pop over at your neighbor's house and like, hey, what's up, buddy? I'm just here to sit on your computer all day and play video games. So I added 3 computers. I thought about putting them upstairs for a little bit, but I decided against it because I didn't want to mess with the layout that I had up there. In all honesty, I could have moved the darts down here and just put the computers upstairs, but didn't think about it, which would have made more sense. But I put 3 pictures on the walls, forgetting to change one of the swatches, which if that bothers you, you can just change it. Didn't really bother me that much in the moment, and I put a stereo down there, and now we're outside working on the water collecting area. I put 4 or 5 over here initially, and I did pull out the broken ones at first, but then I realized that there were like newer, fancier ones, so I put those ones out here instead. I was originally going to make them all like different colors, and then I just stuck with white. And then I was like, 5 is not going to be enough for this lot. Let me put in 2 more, and realistically and technically, that's probably still not enough. I can pretend it is, but in all honesty, it's just not enough. Nothing on this lot is enough for the off-the-grid trait. She's dead. She does not exist anymore. She is just there. A long, distant goal that just was not met with this lot. But here I am. I'm going to be pulling out the pergola for this, and I put it down. And then I'm like, okay, well, what do I put under here? It takes me a second. I mess around with the colors of the pergola for a little bit. I thought I would make it like colorful, and then I just in the end make it this light green color. And then I end up getting out the game tables from Outdoor Retreat. And then for the chairs, I wanted to use more of the folding chairs that I put around the campfire, but only one set of them would sit there, and it was like the butterfly ones. And that was kind of disappointing. So in the end, I just used these base game folding wooden seats, and I think they look fine. They actually complement all the greenery and stuff that I am literally about to start doing right now. So we've reached the part of the video where now I'm just doing the final touches to the landscaping. I put down a few more activities and stuff. Over here, I'm going to be putting, well, first of all, I forget that when you put a basement, it needs to have a solid foundation. So I was like, why did my foundation suddenly change? So I tried to put the stilted foundation back and realized, oh yeah, there's a basement. So I just make it the solid concrete that doesn't necessarily match the sandy beige bricks that I have, but it's close enough. But here I am putting in the island living grass, the base game trees, and then I'm going to put the base game bushes in a light blue and light pink color. I think it's really, really soft for this area. It just makes this area look soft and really naturey, if that's the word that I'm trying to go for. I don't know, it just gives it something, and it makes it feel a certain way. It looks like spring. The nice springy colors. At this point, I've been talking for like 20 minutes. I am running out of adjectives and adverbs and stuff to say, but I'm putting putting a third and fourth flower wall over here. She looks gorgeous above the bench that I put. I would just love to sit there, read a book or people watch. One of my favorite activities to do is just sit and watch people. I find it fascinating. Your Sims will probably clip into the flower wall if they can even sit on that bench. Otherwise, it's just for decorative purposes. And then I'm going to be starting to put the island living grass over here as well. Just a lot of lush greenery. I think it all comes together and looks exactly how I thought it would look, which is very full. It just makes the area just looks like it's full of life and a nice place to live. I really do hope that you've enjoyed watching all these videos. I did have a lot of fun making them. But yeah, here I am putting down more bushes. I do make them purple. Then I complement them with the round yellow flower bushes as well. And then over here, I didn't quite know how to open up a pathway to get to these water collectors because I didn't want to add more unnecessary like path work because then it would just look too busy and clunky. So I just cut out part of the railing, put some stairs, then add just a tiny path off of it and connect it to the porch area, which I think is fine. I just add one more small patch of the island living grass and a couple more bushes, and it looks okay. Now for the empty space that I created, I was kind of unsure what to put there for a little bit. I debated on putting a lot of stuff there, like more kids equipment. I debated on putting like chess tables there, which probably would have looked nice. But in the end, I go with Patchy and some garden patches. Patchy will actually be really helpful on this lab because he'll help you water and weed all the plants. Once you get a high enough friendship with him, he'll come to life. He'll also be a nice friend to have around. I did debate on putting the flower arranging table here, but it kind of just looked really random. And I was like, why would this just randomly be here? So I debated on putting it in the maker space for a little bit. I debated on putting it in someone's house. But it just didn't fit anywhere. So I just took it out. But yeah, I'm going to be just finishing up the landscaping, doing some terrain paint, and then putting in some final activities over by the duplex, which does include the rabbit stump, which I was very excited to put down because I was like, we got the birds, we need the bunnies as well. But as I said in my other videos, this is available now in my gallery. It's all done, it's all uploaded. My name is just Alyssa Marie 23 on the gallery. I'll have all that info at the end of the video and in the description. I want to thank everyone who watched these videos now, or in the future if you happen to stumble upon them later. This was kind of something I decided to do because I was bored and I really just needed to keep myself busy and feel like I was being productive. This is kind of a difficult time for me, considering that I currently am unemployed, so I just needed to feel like I was doing something productive. I have always loved The Sims. I've been playing it since I was really little. And I figured since I'm playing it almost all the time, why not give it a try and try making videos and content, which is something I thought about doing long time ago. I just didn't have the resources to do it, but now that I'm an adult, I can make adult decisions. But even if no one really ends up watching these, I'm just going to be really proud of myself for doing something that I've always wanted to do. And this is just kind of something for me because I just needed to rant about my problems with the game and just needed to talk to somebody, even if that means I'm sitting here ranting and rambling to the void of the internet. But anyway, if you're someone who watched all these videos or you just watched a few, if you're someone who actually made it to the end of this video, thank you for giving me just a little bit of your time. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it. This is a lot of fun, and I'm hopefully going to have some videos above the new expansion pack, Love Struck, by the time this one is live, because I am pre-recording all this because this is a build that I did like months ago. But yeah, that's it for this build. That's it for this project, this eco lifestyle community. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!